Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Saya Syafzan Johari. Malam ini kita akan berbicara mengenai perlindungan kanak-kanak dalam talian dan kenapa isu ini penting. Mari saya bacakan beberapa fakta terkini. 60% daripada kanak-kanak dan remaja ketika ini berbual di chat room ataupun di bilik-bilik sembang online. 3 daripada 4 kanak-kanak sanggup berkongsi maklumat peribadi di dalam atas talian. Dan akhir sekali, 1 daripada 5 kanak-kanak akan jadi mangsa pedofil. Ini yang paling kita takuti. Dan untuk itu kita ada amat besar hati didatangi oleh Datuk Sri Rohani Abdul Karim, iaitu Menteri Pembangunan Wanita, Keluarga dan Masyarakat. Terima kasih Datuk sudi datang.
Alhamdulillah, terima kasih
dan kita juga dikunjungi oleh Saudara Fanny Kakama, itu pakar perlindungan kanak-kanak UNICEF Malaysia. Baiklah, dan itu izinkan saya berbahasa Inggeris. Datuk ya?
Ya.
Okay, first and foremost, when we talk about online child safety, let's look at the global trends now. Earlier I mentioned that 1 out of 5 children has become the target of the pedophile. Yeah. This is very worrying. So,
definitely.
let's look at the global trends. Is it similar, or there is worst case in other parts of the world?
Yeah, the trend is that children are increasingly getting exposed to harm because they're exposed to the internet. But we cannot say that that is probably the trend right now. It is something that we need to take care of. It's something we need to be aware of. But by and large, children are actually safe on the internet, although there are risks that we need to be aware of.
And then recently, a couple of weeks ago, something worrying me, and we have reported this issue about a girl, 14 years old, she bought a ticket to the Middle East to join IS, and she's just 14. And then you know the case, you give some response to the case, and then this is not just pedophile. If she really gets her, if she really arrives in Syria or Iraq, she might just become a sex slave.
Yeah. Now, Shafizan, as you said, indeed it is very, very worrying. And just now you're asking about studies being made in other parts of the world, but actually back home, nearer back home, by DG, and it's very recent. They call it the National Survey 2014. They call it Cyber Safe in Schools. Now, 14,000 respondents, children, 83% of the children is actually exposed to a high risk of having very minimum protection.
Okay.
So because of that, and this was a talk not only this year. It was over the years, and the ministry, our ministry took up, because we are the protector of children in Malaysia through our Child Act 2001, and because of that, and I think there were a lot of feedback coming way before this IS phenomena. Then we came up with Child Online Protection Plan of Action.
Okay.
Or in bahasa is called Plan Tindakan Perlindungan Kanak-kanak dalam Dunia Cyber. It's indeed very worrying because it's not, you said just now, with chat room and all this, and Shafizan, basically they're in the house, they're right there in the house, they're in the bedroom, but they are very much exposed to all this. It comes, you don't have to, once upon a time, last time, parents tell us don't leave, that means when you go out of the house, then you're up to something. But this is in the house.
I still remember when my grandma used to take care of me, and then she said, I was living in Alostar. Alostar is about 40 kilometers away from the Thailand border.
Okay.
He said, you don't just go out and walk around because someone may just take you and sell you. So that was 20 years ago, before this emergence of the internet. So now, Dato', based on your research, what is the current trend of online race among children, or what kind of threats that are available now?
Okay, so
Besides pedophile.
as I said, so just for the information of everyone that this plan tindakan or plan of action on child online protection plan of action is very hot, fresh from the oven, approved by cabinet 11 of March.
A couple of weeks ago.
And then because of that, because it's part of our program, we're going to have a seminar or a conference on this, because we want it to be further discussed, you know, and we're going to have children together in the conference. But just now, to answer your question, now these are the threats. And by the way, it was informed to me in my children advisory council. You know what? It's the children who told us in the meeting, because in the meeting is made up of adults and children.
Okay.
So the children came up and said there are a lot of threats and through internet. So I would like to tell you some of the things. The threats are cyberbullying,
Okay.
cyber grooming. Cyber grooming is like they try to be friend with you. They make friend with you, you know, and they will you know, to the extent that you believe, you know, a lot of stories they bring up. So they groom you there, you know.
I see.
And then next is identity theft. Identity theft is just like someone pretend to be, you know, sometimes they pretend to be of the same age as you, but actually they're not. So it's an identity that they play up. And then pornography, and then violence. So these are the threats that is very worrying. And, you know, the positive is there, internet, you know, you learn, fingertips, you know, you can learn very fast, you get a lot of information. But these are also the threats that we are trying to overcome through our plan of action under child online protection.
Like, if I have a child, and then I'll be a bit okay if my son or my daughter, you know, tells me everything about what he or she does in the internet.
Yeah.
But what happens to any family or any specific family that has a child who always keep things to herself? So how to make children open up and share their activities online? So we have to take a very short break for a while, and we'll come back. We'll talk about this more. Lagi dalam agenda Awani, kita masih bercakap mengenai perlindungan kanak-kanak dalam talian bersama dengan Datuk Seri Rohani Abdul Karim, Menteri Pembangunan Wanita Keluarga dan Masyarakat, juga Saudara Fiani Kakama, iaitu pakar pelindung kanak-kanak UNICEF Malaysia. Dan rancangan kita pada malam ini ataupun diskusi kita pada malam ini adalah sempena persidangan serantau berhubung perlindungan kanak-kanak dalam talian ke arah pendekatan sistem yang bersepadu yang akan diadakan pada 24 Mac ini. Alright, now just now we will talk about how to make our children opens up to us as parents. And then Mr. Kakama, maybe you have any experience?
Yeah, I think it's really an important point, because as you mentioned earlier on, children are online in privately. The parents are not actually following them and finding out what they are doing. So the best way is for the parents to have that kind of relationship with their children, for the children to be able to expose to their parents if they experience any threats while they are working on the line. And the parents need to give them the assurance that actually, even if they are experiencing those threats or those risks, it does not mean that they are going to shut away the opportunity for them to continue using the internet. So first and foremost, the children need to get the assurance to be able to inform their parents the potential risks, and the parents need to give their children the assurance that them telling them what they're experiencing does not mean that they are going to shut away the opportunity that they have got. And one of the other things that might also be important is for the parents to keep encouraging their children, to be able to talk to them without fearing that if they do so, it's going to affect the way they are being able to access the internet.
So this is this challenge allows, or somehow rather I would say, will make parents would need to do some sort of new ways of parenting.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, for the information, it's communication. Yeah, communication is very important. Besides the threat of taking,
Taking away the confidence.
Yes, yes. But it's communication. That's why sometimes I told my children, even at an early age, besides being a mother, I'm your friend, because I don't want to be the last to be informed. I want actually to be the first to know. Some excitement, they went through some things, they saw some new games, that kind of thing. I want to be involved. So and I know it's especially as parents, it's not as easy anymore. That's why in LPPKN, I have one agency, LPPKN, we have parenting courses, because as parents you can't assume that you actually know your role as a parent these days. And I even told LPPKN to put in the cyber child online protection inside that parenting course. So that is why you asked me another question just now. That is why we came up with this plan of action, plan tindakan, because we feel we have to address it, because actually so many departments, so many ministries, so many people actually are involved. So in this plan of action that we came up with, it is really spelling out, okay, parents, what's your role? This ministry, what's your role? This ministry, what's your role? NGO, what's your role? Community, this is your role. Beside parents and children themselves. In fact, children also have a role.
And then it's very happy to know. I'm very happy to know that in the conference that you're gonna that will be
24th
held on the 24th
24th
March,
to 25th,
where children will also come up and do presentations.
Yes.
So this is very interesting.
Yeah.
So this is, I would say, an example of how children can open up.
Yes, and besides that, maybe a little bit, I'll just go through a little bit. First, we also get MCMC or SKMM to talk about maybe gadgets, maybe software, maybe
new technologies.
That can also assist, and maybe to actually can detect something that is not supposed to be, not supposed to be for our children, for example. And then we even have from UNICEF coming up to share some of the experiences. And then issues. What are the child online issues in Malaysia? We specific to Malaysia. So the studies that was done by DG and all that will come handy, and even UNICEF Malaysia will also come up with some input, and we even bring in speakers from Harvard University, just now I saw one, University of Western Sydney. We are bringing all the so-called experts that has done something in this area. But as you said, the very interesting one, actually, if possible, we want it to be really taken note of, because it's the children themselves. They are going to come, they are going to present, they are going to share what actually has happened to some of them, that all the other children in Malaysia or wherever also can learn from there. At least a hindrance.
So
be very careful.
If I may add on to that, I think also the importance of having children being able to express themselves. It's not always about the negative experiences, but they're also able to share the positive experiences.
Even the positive.
Because there is no way in this modern age we are going to say, oh, children, you are like at risk. You are not going to continue working online. But the children are going to be able to say, right, we want to work on the line, but we want to be supported. We want to get the knowledge, we want to get the skills so that we can keep working online in a safe way. And that is why you need to understand the risks and how they can be able to mitigate them. So really building the resilience and the capacity to be able to work on the line, but working much more safely.
Awareness. You know, they are constantly aware. You know, if this happens, some of these risks coming up, they know what to do. So this is what this conference is about. And it's not just a role of a person or what, it's everyone is coming in. So that's why from on that day, I'll be giving out, you know, the plan of action to about 10 ministries, agencies, departments, because each one, they'll have their role there.
So we have to take another short break for a while, Dato'. And when we come back, we would detail out what are the what we call milestones that you have achieved in the plan of action. Maybe we can, you know, make an early introduction of the plan of action. And next, we're gonna try to find out and help the children on how to identify praise online. Jumpa lagi selepas ini. Masih lagi dalam agenda Awani bersama dengan Saudara Fanny Kakama, iaitu pakar pelindung kanak-kanak UNICEF Malaysia, juga Datuk Sri Rohani Abdul Karim, Menteri Pembangunan Wanita, Keluarga dan Masyarakat. Okay, Mr. Kakama, just now when we were having our during the intervals, you were saying about striking a balance on, okay, yes, technology is the future. You have to adapt technology as early as possible, as young as possible. But how to strike a balance? The risk versus getting their hands on the latest technology and device.
Exactly. Yeah, so we need to have the children exposed to the technology. There is no way we cannot, because it's important for them in terms of knowledge, in terms of information. But as we expose them, as we expose them to that, they should be aware of the potential risks. But I think the good thing, even from research, is that not everything that is risky online results in harm. That is something that we need to be aware of.
Is there any specific program by UNICEF in advocating the online education towards children?
Yeah, in many countries, UNICEF is trying to help in trying to understand how children can be kept safe online. Because for UNICEF, whatever children are experiencing offline may not necessarily be the same, different from what the children may be experiencing online. So what you need to be aware of is then how do you help children, how do you support the children to be aware of those risks and how you can be able to mitigate them.
And in Malaysia, we have another milestone. We've published a plan tindakan or action plan in this regard. And then, Dato', what are the most significant elements that is perhaps you would want to highlight in the plan tindakan?
Okay, it covers four main objectives. Empat objektif utama. Number one, as I said, is awareness. Awareness, and also the commitment of all the stakeholders, you know, all the parties involved that are supposed to protect the children, especially in this cyber world.
Okay.
The next is on protection. When you say protection, then there will be those gadgets, those applications, you know, that can help as well. Next is to make sure that there are programs, intervention programs. If it happens, if there was some risk, if children came up and said they are at risk, so intervention programs. So we must be ready with it, and also rehabilitation. You know, sometimes there's so much in the mist. You know, they're so into it that you have to rehabilitate back. You know, bring them back. Yeah, but this, I mean, it sounds, I hope I'm not instilling fear, because I see Penny is saying some other thing. But what I mean, these are real. You know, it's real. And then next is support services. even if trauma happens, then counseling. Counseling comes in, even to parents. As what has happened to this girl, you said IS.
14-year-old.
We are ever ready to give the parents, to give the girl counseling whenever needed. We are here, but we have to abide by if she's still under questioning or whatever is okay. But we are here. So this is what this plan of action is for. The 4 main objectives. So we must have advocacy, as we say, advocation, and then prevention, and then next is the intervention as well as the support services.
And then this is the pelan tindakan or action plan.
Yes,
It's
action
plausible.
plan. Yes.
It's very it's very good that we have one as compared to other the countries that doesn't have. But the challenge is implementation. How do you convey this message to the communities, parents and children?
We are going to embark on this roadshow, but we'll start with this conference.
Yep.
And
On
as
the
I said,
24th?
this conference is by invitation because we are bringing in all the stakeholders, all the people that is really involved, and then after that we'll go embark on the roadshow. We and as I said, we have Children's Council, which will bring also all this. So we'll go all throughout the country because it's so important. This is so real that let people know we do have something for them to fall on. If it happens. But what is so important is awareness for parents, even in the house. Just to be together with the children and see what is it, and then even tell them, quote to them some example. Even you can even mention about what is happening, a 14-year-old girl. So something must have happened that she's so convinced to go and move out. To me, a 14-year-old is still a baby. Obviously them still a baby. Even my children, 30 years old, are still babies. But I mean that's how we are. So parents, we must equip parents. Jeffrizan, it's a big task.
And least, and as long as everyone knows that there are risks, there are threats online, and they know that they are not alone. You are there to help them. UNICEF are there going to be will always be available to help the children as well as parents to cope and to mitigate all these challenges online. I think we'll be in the safe hands. Thank you very much.
We even have people from ASEAN coming for this conference. ASEAN level, there are about 5-6 countries coming just to share and participate.
And we will invite you once again to actually share the outcome of the event.
InsyaAllah.
Thank you very much, Datuk Sri.
Thank you so much.
Datuk
Thank
Sri
you so
Rohani Abdul
much.
Karim, Menteri Pembangunan Wanita Keluarga dan Masyarakat, juga Saudara Fanny Kakama, itu pakar pelindung kanak-kanak UNICEF Malaysia, bincang mengenai perlindungan kanak-kanak dalam talian sepanjang 30 minit yang lalu. Sebarang cadangan hantarkan ke platform-platform sosial media kami. Anda juga boleh menonton kami secara langsung